Kit Guru is with MSI Notebooks at CES 2024. This laptop does not exist, not for another 3 hours. And that is when Intel is going to launch their HX series of 14th gen processors. This is the Titan 18HX. It packs an Intel Core i9-14900HX, which is essentially a desktop processor, and up to RTX 4090 laptop graphics with 16 gig of memory. The screen is 3840 by 2400. They call that UHD plus 16:10 ratio, and it's mini LED. How do they manage to get 270 watts of cooling in a laptop? The answer is that the Titan 18HX uses a vapor chamber cooler. We've seen vapor chambers used by MSI on stealth laptops in the past, but never on a mighty gaming laptop. So this is a first. So not only do we have better cooling, we've also got a slimmer form factor. The vapor chamber is about 3 mil thinner than a regular cooler with heat pipes, and as a consequence, this chassis is also somewhat thinner than previous. So this is presumably going to be hugely expensive, but it packs in all the bells and whistles of the absolute latest gaming hardware. The Claw is MSI's entry into the handheld gaming market. Packing an Intel Core Ultra 155H, that's a U spec of processor, it's essentially a tiny little laptop, but obviously for gaming. The screen is Full HD, measures 7 inches on the diagonal, has a 120Hz refresh, and it is touchscreen. They've got the thing tethered quite tightly to avoid people stealing it, I think. You'll note we have proper input-output, which is obviously based on MSI's history with laptops. And the cooling system is also quite significant. They claim this game has been playing for hours, and yet to the touch it's absolutely cool. Try to break it. The battery is rated at 53 watt hours, and we've heard a rumour that there might even be a slightly larger battery included in the near future. On the face of it, this is a deeply impressive little handheld, priced at $500 or $600 depending on the exact spec. There's going to be 2 specs we understand. This looks deeply interesting, and this is big news for MSI. Look out, Asus ROG and Steam Deck. MSI is coming for you with their Claw. More HX-powered laptops. Here we have the Crosshair 17 and 16HX, and to the right we have the Sword 17 and 16HX. In all cases, Intel Core i7-14700H, and the graphics up to RTX 4070 with 8 gig of memory. The screens, 17-inch, are QHD 2560 by 1600, and it's the same resolution for 16-inch. 240Hz refresh on both those panels, and they're IPS level. Clearly aimed at the gamer who wants maximum performance but isn't going to go all the way to a Titan. As we came to CES, we knew perfectly well we wouldn't be able to avoid AI because it is everywhere. So the Prestige 13 AI Evo, packing an Intel Core Ultra 7 155H. Integrated graphics, so it's thin and light, and it has a 2.8K OLED panel. The weight with the magnesium chassis, just under 1 kilo. As we look at the Prestige 14 AI Studio, you might occasionally see some artifacts in the background. This is because the webcam and the software is attempting to take items out of the background. There are actually people behind me, but every so often a bit of a person will appear. This, I think, is what AI is going to be like for the next year or two. It's going to do it. It's going to function, but in a slightly erratic manner. Anyway, processor here, up to Core Ultra 9 185H, and it has a 2.8K IPS panel. Cyborg 14 is all about recycled materials, keeping down costs and lowering the carbon footprint. The processor's Core i7-13620H. It's the same laptop. You're looking at the bottom view and the top view, and you can see from the colour of the plastic it's recycled material. You can also see plenty of ventilation for cooling. 14 inches on the diagonal, 1920 by 1200, and a 144Hz refresh. Graphics are up to RTX 4060, so these cooling vents will doubtless come in handy. Here we have some updates to MSI's gaming laptops packing HX processors. It's interesting to note there's not a single AMD laptop on show at CES 2024 in the MSI booth. That's not because MSI has fallen out of love with AMD. It seems it's going to be Computex 2024 when AMD has new gaming hardware. At CES 2024, the graphics are familiar. It's all about the new Intel Core Ultra processors and also Intel HX processors. So here with the Vector we have Core i9-14900HX and up to RTX 4080. with a 2560 by 1600 panel. The Raider 18HX, which is one step down from the Titan, Core i9 14900HX, up to RTX 4090, UHD plus screen. The spec might be sounding familiar by now. As we look at the Raider 18HX and we look at the relatively basic feel, and then we move across once again to the Titan 18HX, we can see that this has a definite premium look to it and includes, I hadn't noticed this up to now, cherry switches on the keyboard. There's no denying the Titan 18HX is a step up from the Raider. The Stealth 18 AI Studio, once again AI, up to Core Ultra 9 185H, and the graphics up to RTX 4090. That's quite a lot of power to pack into a relatively slender chassis. Vapor chamber cooling in this Stealth. As we said before, it's new to the Titan, it's not new to Stealth. Stealth 16 AI Studio, on the other hand, up to Core Ultra 9 185H and up to RTX 4090 graphics. However, the cooler is a regular heat pipe cooler, Cooler Boost 5, rather than vapor chamber. And as we move down the line, Stealth 14 AI Studio, again Intel Core Ultra 9 185H, graphics up to RTX 4070, 2.8K display and vapor chamber cooling, but somewhat less than the Cooler Boost 5. And finally we finish on the Raider GE78 and the GE68, both gaining the HX suffix because they pack a Core i9 14900HX, graphics up to RTX 4090, and the screen, depending on which model you have, 17 or 16 inches. Somewhat bizarrely, the 17 inch is QHD 2560 by 1600, while the 16 is 4K and mini LED. We're signing off from MSI Notebooks at CES 2024 in front of the brand new Claw gaming handheld. Remember, head over to kitguru.net to read our reviews and our news. And also, we do videos on TikTok in vertical form.